Michael's hands were shaking not from the cold, but from what she'd just said. "You're who?" The woman he'd helped on that frozen roadside, the one he'd shared his last granola bar with, wasn't just anyone. She was Susan Wright, Billionaire, CEO. And she was standing in his garage, offering him something impossible. But here's the thing about kindness: it doesn't ask questions, it just gives. And sometimes, just sometimes, it comes back when you need it most. "Dad, we're gonna be late again." "I know, sweetheart." Michael Turner gripped the wheel tighter. 7:47 a.m. Shift started at 8. Gas gauge on E. Heat barely working. Emily huddled in her too small purple coat breath, fogging the window of their 2008 Honda. 3 years since Karen died. 3 years of playing both parents. 3 years of his checking account laughing at him. $47 until Friday. Friday was 3 days away. The road stretched white and endless ahead. That's when he saw the black Mercedes, hood up, steam rising. Someone inside. "Dad, someone's stuck." Michael's foot hit the brake before his brain caught up. He was already late. Jenkins would dock his pay again. Jenkins had been looking for excuses to cut his hours for months. But Michael's hands were already turning the wheel. "We're helping, aren't we?" Emily knew him too well. "Yeah, baby, we're helping." He pulled over, hazards blinking. "Stay warm, okay?" "Okay, Daddy." The cold hit him like a fist. His jacket, 6 winters old, zipper broken, did nothing. Snow crunched under his boots as he approached the Mercedes. A woman rolled down the window, 50s silver hair, elegant, even stranded, lost eyes. "Car trouble," she laughed. "That obvious. Steam's a good tell." He gestured at the hood. "Mind if I look?" "Please, I've been here 20 minutes. No signal." She held up her phone. "I don't even know what happened." "Pop the hood." He smelled it before he saw it. Coolant. Radiator hose split right at the connection. Simple fix. Stupid simple. Find it. She'd gotten out. Expensive coat that looked warm but wasn't. Designer boots soaked through. Radiator hose split. Your coolant leaked, engine overheated, shut itself down before it seized. Is that good? Real good. Could have destroyed your engine. This I can patch. Get you to a real garage. You can fix it here, temporarily. He jogged back to his Honda. Emily had her face pressed to the window, watching everything. He grabbed his kit, duct tape, zip ties, water jug. Not much. Enough. When he came back, the woman was kneeling in the snow by his passenger window. "And then the rabbit turned into a princess," Emily was saying. But the prince didn't know because he'd never seen her without the rabbit ears. What a twist. The woman sounded delighted. "Emily." Michael's voice came out sharper than he meant. "Don't bother the lady." "She's not bothering me." The woman stood, brushed snow off. "She's telling me about the rabbit princess. I'm invested now." "I'm making it up," Emily announced. "Daddy says I should write it down." "Your dad's smart." Michael felt heat creep up his neck. "She's got an imagination." "That's a gift." The woman looked at him different then, like she saw something. "I'm Susan." "Michael." He held up his grease-stained hands. "I'd shake your hand." "I understand." She smiled. "Thank you for stopping. I was starting to think I'd freeze." 7 minutes later, hose-taped, radiator-filled engine running smooth. "You did it," Susan breathed. "It's temporary. You need a real shop. That tape won't hold forever." "How much do I owe you?" "Nothing. I didn't do anything." "You stopped. You helped. That's everything." She reached for her purse. "Please." "Really, I'm good." They stood in the snow. Awkward dance of thanks and refusal. Finally, Susan pulled out her phone. "Can I at least get your number in case I can repay you somehow?" What favor could a woman in a Mercedes need from him? But Emily was watching, and he'd taught her to accept kindness gracefully. Sure, he gave her the digits. She typed them in. "Michael Turner, Jenkins Auto on 5th Street. "That's me." Well, Michael Turner. She extended her hand. This time he took it. Thank you. You might have saved my life. Just a radiator hose, ma'am. Susan, and it was more than that. She squeezed his hand once. Drive safe, and take care of that storyteller. The world needs her imagination. I will. Susan pulled away. Taillights disappeared. Emily bounced in her seat. Dad, she was so nice, and she smelled like flowers, and she said my story was good, and she said the world needs imagination. Did you hear? I heard baby. 8:14. He was screwed. But driving down Route 40, Emily chattering about princesses and nice ladies, Michael felt something he hadn't felt in forever, hope. Jenkins was waiting when Michael walked in 43 minutes late. Turner office, now. The office smelled like old coffee and disappointment. Jenkins sat behind his desk like a judge about to pass sentence. 43 minutes, Turner. I know, I'm sorry. There was a stranded car. I don't care if there was a stranded spaceship. Jenkins leaned back. You know how many times you've been late this quarter? Mr. Jenkins, my daughter. Your daughter isn't my problem. Your attendance is. He pulled out a folder. I'm cutting you to part-time, effective Monday. The floor dropped out. Part-time, I can't. I need full-time. I've got a mortgage. I've got Emily. Should have thought about that before showing up whenever you feel like it. I've never missed a shift, never called in sick. I work overtime whenever you ask, and you're late, constantly. Jenkins stood. Part-time or nothing, Turner. Your choice. It wasn't a choice. Part-time meant losing the house, meant no insurance, meant choosing between electricity and groceries. I need this job, Michael said quietly. Then be on time. Michael walked out. The other mechanics, Danny, Rodriguez, Steve, all found somewhere else to look. That night, Michael sat at the kitchen table with bills spread like a losing poker hand. Mortgage $1.847 due in 9 days. Electric $203 past due. Emily's school lunch account -$47. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hi, Michael. It's Susan from Route 40. I hope this doesn't seem forward, but I'd love to bring you something Saturday. A thank you. What time does your garage open? Michael stared at the message. A woman in a Mercedes wanted to thank him. Meanwhile, his life was circling the drain. He typed back, I'm usually there by 7. Her response came fast. Perfect. See you then. Emily found him at the laptop that night searching. What you looking at, Daddy? Nothing, baby. Just work stuff. But she climbed on his lap anyway, saw the screen. Susan Wright's picture, CEO, philanthropist, worth $4.3 billion. That's the nice lady. Michael's stomach dropped to his shoes. That can't be. But it was. Same eyes, same smile. The woman he'd helped was one of the richest people in America. Why are you looking at her? Emily asked. Because she texted me. She wants to visit the garage Saturday. That's good. Is it? Michael's mind raced. Why would a billionaire visit his garage? What did she want? People like her didn't just text people like him. She's nice, Daddy. Remember, she liked my story. Yeah. Michael closed the laptop. She did. But he didn't sleep that night. Saturday morning, Michael showed up at 6:30, cleaned the garage for real, not just kicking stuff under the workbench, put on his least stained coveralls, felt like an idiot. At 7:02, a car pulled up, sleek, new, not the Mercedes. Susan stepped out with a woven basket. Good morning, Michael. His throat was dry. Morning. She walked in like the oil stains and rusty tools didn't exist. Set the basket on his workbench. I baked. The smell hit. Cinnamon rolls, homemade, still warm. You baked. Don't sound so shocked. She pulled one out, handed it over on a napkin. Try it. Fair warning, I'm terrible at baking. He bit in. Perfect. This is amazing. Liar. But she smiled. Then the smile faded. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why'd you stop that day? You were late. You didn't know me. Why? Michael set down the roll. My dad used to say character is what you do when nobody's keeping score. Even when you can't afford to. Not a question. She knew. Especially then. Susan was quiet. Then, tell me about yourself, not the resume, the real version. And he did. He told her about Karen, about cancer that came fast and left him with Emily and a mortgage and no clue, about 60-hour weeks that still weren't enough, about bills on credit cards, about Emily's school supplies he couldn't afford, about dreams of expanding the garage, teaching kids building something that mattered, about being so tired he couldn't remember not being tired. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't mean to. Don't. Susan's voice was fierce. You know what I see when I look at you. A guy drowning. Someone who keeps swimming, who helps strangers when he's got nothing left, who raises a daughter who thinks rabbits can be princesses. She leaned forward. Someone who reminds me why I do what I do. And what's that? That's a conversation for later. But Michael, you're going to hear from me again, soon, and when you do say yes. Yes to what? You'll know. She left Michael standing there smelling cinnamon and wondering what the hell just happened. Tuesday, his phone rang. Different number. Michael Turner. Speaking. Mr. Turner, I'm Patricia Reeves from Orion Motors Corporate. We'd like to invite you for an interview next Thursday at 10. Michael's brain stuttered. I think you have the wrong. You were personally recommended by our CEO, Susan Wright. The world stopped. Susan Wright, your CEO. Yes, sir, she spoke very highly of you. Would Thursday work? Yes, Thursday at 10. He hung up, stood in the middle of Jenkins' auto with transmission fluid on his hands, and laughed until he cried. That night at dinner, Emily pushed peas around her plate. Daddy, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong, baby. You keep smiling at your phone. Michael set the phone down. Remember the nice lady from the car? The one who liked my story? Yeah, she's... How did he explain this? She's really important. She runs a big company, and she wants to talk to me about a job. Emily's eyes went huge. A new job? Maybe. I don't know yet. Would we have more money? The question punched him in the chest. 7 years old and already thinking about money. Maybe, sweetheart. Then you should do it, Emily bounced. You should take the job. It's not that simple. Why not? Because people like him didn't get jobs at places like Orion Motors, because it had to be a mistake, because good things didn't happen to Michael Turner, but he couldn't say any of that. I have to interview first. They might not want me. They'll want you. You're the best. If only the world worked like that. Wednesday night, Danny called me. Heard you got an interview at Orion. Word traveled fast. Yeah. Turner, man, be careful. Careful of what? Places like that, they eat guys like us alive. You're a mechanic. You didn't go to college. These corporate types, they're gonna chew you up. I'm just interviewing. I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up. People like us, we don't belong in places like that. Michael hung up, stared at the ceiling. Maybe Danny was right. Thursday morning, Michael stood outside Orion Motors headquarters and felt like a fraud. 40 stories of glass and steel and money. People in $1,000 suits rushing past with phones and briefcases and purpose. He almost left. But Emily had helped him pick out his shirt that morning, his only dress shirt, the funeral shirt, and made him promise to be brave. So he walked in. The lobby was marble and intimidation. The receptionist directed him to the 37th floor. The elevator moved faster than his car. The hallway was lined with awards magazine covers, pictures of Susan Wright with presidents and tech CEOs, and people who changed the world. What was he doing here, Mr. Turner? Patricia Reeves, sharp, efficient, younger than he expected. Ms. Wright is ready for you. She led him past cubicles and windows that showed the whole city spread out like a promise. Stopped at a corner office. Go ahead. He stepped inside. Susan sat behind a massive desk phone to her ear papers everywhere. When she saw him, her face changed. I'll call you back. She hung up, came around the desk. Michael, you came. You said to say yes. I did. She gestured to a chair. Sit, coffee water. I'm good. They sat. This is weird, isn't it? Susan laughed. Me in here, you God, you must think I'm insane. Little bit. Fair. She leaned forward. Let me explain. That day on Route 40, I was coming from a board meeting that went to hell. We're launching a new electric vehicle platform, biggest thing Orion's done in 20 years, and it's falling apart. Suppliers lying, engineers fighting, executives covering their asses. I was so angry I couldn't see. She paused. And then my car broke down, and I sat there thinking, this is my life, broken down, nobody coming. But I came. You came, didn't know me, didn't want anything. Just helped. Her voice cracked. And watching you work, I realized I built this empire and forgot what it was for. Forgot about people like you, people who fix things because they're broken, not because there's a profit margin in it. Michael said nothing. I don't need another executive. I need someone who remembers what real work looks like, what integrity looks like. I need someone who fixes more than engines. She met his eyes. Someone who fixes people. That's you. I'm a mechanic. I never went to college. I don't know how to run. And nobody here knows about struggle, about real life, about choosing between fixing cars and feeding your kid. She pulled out a folder. I'm offering you a consultant position. You'd work with our engineering teams. Help us remember we're building cars for people, not shareholders. He stared at the folder, didn't touch it. They're gonna hate me. Some guy off the street. Let them. Prove them wrong. She pushed the folder closer. Look at the salary. He opened it. The number made the room spin. 6 figures, more money than he'd made in 3 years combined. That's enough to stop drowning, enough to breathe. His hands shook. Why me? Because you stopped, because you helped, because I've spent 30 years with people who'd step over a stranger to make a meeting, and I'm tired. Susan's voice turned fierce. I want to work with someone who proves that's not the only way, someone who proves goodness still exists. Michael thought about Emily, the mortgage, 3 years of drowning, a hand finally reaching down. When do I start? Susan smiled like sunrise. Monday, Monday. Welcome to Orion Motors, Michael Turner. They shook hands. As he reached the door, Susan called out, Bring Emily by sometime. I want to hear the rest of that rabbit princess story. Michael sat in his car in the parking garage for 15 minutes. Then he called Jenkins Auto. Jenkins, it's Turner. I'm giving my 2 weeks. Silence. Then you're quitting. I got another job. Doing what? Where? Orion Motors. Jenkins laughed. Orion, they're never gonna hire a grease monkey like... Michael hung up. Some bridges you burn with joy. That night he picked Emily up from school early. Daddy, why are you here? It's only 2 o'clock. Get in, baby. We're celebrating. Celebrating what? I got the job. Emily screamed, actually screamed, threw her arms around his neck so hard she nearly choked him. I knew it. I knew they'd pick you. You did, huh? Because you're the best daddy in the whole world, and you fix things, and you help people, and... breathe. She pulled back, tears on her face. We're gonna be okay. The question broke him. Yeah, baby, we're gonna be okay. That night they had pizza. Real pizza, not the frozen kind. Emily got to pick a movie. They stayed up past bedtime. For the first time in 3 years, Michael Turner slept without nightmares. Friday morning, his phone buzzed. Unknown number, he almost ignored it, but something made him look. Heard you're joining Orion Motors. Big mistake, Turner. You have no idea what you're walking into. Some people there don't want you to succeed. Watch your back. This isn't the feel-good story you think it is. Michael stared at the screen. Who sent this? Why did it feel like a warning? He looked at Emily, still asleep in her bed, clutching her stuffed rabbit, looked at the Orion offer letter on the table, looked back at the text. You have no idea what you're walking into. Maybe he didn't, but he was walking in anyway, because sometimes you have to step into the dark to find the light, and Michael Turner had been in the dark long enough. Monday morning came too fast and too slow at the same time. Michael stood in front of the bathroom mirror at 5 a.m., trying to knot a tie Emily had picked out at Goodwill Sunday afternoon. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Daddy, you look fancy." Emily stood in the doorway in her pajamas, hair sticking up every direction. "You're supposed to be asleep." "Too excited." She patted over, fixed his crooked tie with the confidence of someone who'd watched YouTube tutorials all weekend. "There, perfect. When'd you get so grown up? I'm 7.5 now, practically a teenager." He pulled her into a hug, breathed in her strawberry shampoo smell, tried not to think about the text message from Friday, the warning. "You're gonna be amazing," Emily whispered. "Just be you." If only it were that simple. Orion Motors headquarters looked different at 7:30 a.m., less intimidating maybe, or maybe Michael was just too terrified to notice. Patricia Reeves met him in the lobby with a badge and a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Big day, ready, as I'll ever be." She led him to the elevator, pressed 37. They rode in silence until she spoke. "Advice, don't try to be something you're not. Susan hired you because you're different. Lean into that. People gonna have a problem with different." Patricia's smile turned genuine. "Oh, absolutely, but that's their problem, not yours." The elevator doors opened to chaos. People rushing everywhere, phones ringing, someone shouting about a production delay in conference room B. The energy felt electric and hostile all at once. "This is engineering," Patricia said. "Your department, well, one of them. You'll float between teams." A man looked up from his desk, mid-40s, expensive suit expression, like he'd just smelled something rotten. "You're the mechanic." Not a question, an accusation. "Michael Turner." He extended his hand. The man stared at it, didn't take it. "Tom Richardson, Senior Vice President of Operations. I report directly to Susan." "Nice to meet you." "Is it?" Tom turned back to his computer. "Patricia, does he have security clearance for the EV specs?" "Being processed." "Then maybe he should wait in the break room until it clears. Wouldn't want any proprietary information falling into the wrong hands." Patricia's jaw tightened. "Tom, it's fine," Michael said quietly. "I can wait." "No." A new voice. A woman, late 30s, red hair, pulled back tight. "He can shadow me until clearance comes through. I'm Rachel Chen, lead engineer on the EV platform." She stuck out her hand. Michael shook it. "Ignore Tom. He's territorial about everything, including oxygen." Tom's face went red. "I'm protecting company interests." "You're being an ass." Rachel turned to Michael. "Come on, let's get you set up." As they walked away, Michael heard Tom mutter something. Couldn't make out the words, but the tone was clear enough. Rachel led him to a desk, small, corner, near the bathrooms. "Sorry about the location. It's what was available." "It's great, really." He'd worked in worse. "Liar, but I appreciate the attitude." Rachel perched on the desk edge. "Real talk. Half the people here think Susan made a mistake hiring you. The other half are waiting to see you fail. But me, I'm reserving judgment. Susan's instincts are usually solid." "Usually?" "Well, she did hire Tom 5 years ago, so nobody's perfect." Rachel grinned. "Give me your honest take. You know anything about electric vehicle architecture?" "Not a damn thing." "See honesty. I like you already." She pulled up a chair. "Here's the thing. This launch is a disaster. We've got battery thermal management issues, charging port failures, and a software system that crashes every 47 minutes like clockwork. The board's breathing down Susan's neck, Tom's playing politics instead of solving problems, and we go to production in 6 months. Why'd Susan hire me if you need engineers? Because we've got plenty of engineers. What we don't have is someone who thinks different. Susan thinks you see things we miss." Rachel studied him. "So, do you—" Michael looked at the specs on her screen, numbers and diagrams that meant nothing to him. Can I ask a stupid question? Stupid questions are usually the smartest ones. Who's going to drive these cars? Rachel blinked. What? I mean, who's your customer? Soccer moms, executives, people who fix radiators on the side of the road. Our target demographic is affluent, early adopters, ages 35 to 55, household income over 200,000. So rich people, affluent consumers. Right, Michael pointed at the charging port specs. Rich people who are going to plug this in where garage, driveway, both. In winter, Rachel's expression changed. What about winter? I'm from upstate. We get real winters. You know how many service calls I got for frozen charging ports? People trying to plug in block heaters when it's 15 below. The port has a heating element that uses battery power while the car's trying to charge. In the cold, when batteries already perform worse. Michael stopped. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. No, Rachel leaned forward. Keep going. It's just I've seen what happens to equipment in real winter. Salt, ice, temperature swings. Your diagrams are clean, but life is messy. And if this thing freezes shut the first time someone in Minnesota tries to charge it, your rich people are going to lose their minds. Rachel stared at him. Then she started typing furiously. What? You just identified a failure mode nobody caught. We've been testing in California, controlled environments. But you're right, real-world winter conditions could brick the entire charging system. She looked up. Susan was right about you. I just asked a question. The right question, that's harder than you think. A throat cleared behind them. Tom stood there with two other men. Both looked like younger versions of Tom, expensive suits, expensive watches, expensive sneers. Richardson, Rachel's voice went cold. Chen, I see you're already wasting the mechanic's time with proprietary information. I'm utilizing a consultant Susan personally hired. A consultant, Tom smiled. Ugly smile. Is that what we're calling charity cases now? Michael felt his hands curl into fists, forced them to relax. Tom, don't be a dick, Rachel said. I'm being protective. We're 6 months from the biggest launch in Orion's history, and Susan brings in someone with zero corporate experience, zero engineering background, and zero relevance to our work. Tom looked at Michael. No offense. Some taken, Michael said quietly. See thin skin. That won't last a week here. Tom turned to his colleagues. Gentlemen, let's get actual work done. Leave the babysitting to Chen. They walked away. Rachel exhaled slowly. I'm sorry. Tom's been worse since Susan announced you. Why's he hate me? I just got here. Because Susan didn't consult him. Because you represent everything he's not real-world experience, practical skills, humanity. And because he knows if you succeed, it makes him look worse by comparison. I'm not trying to make anyone look bad. That's why you'll succeed. Rachel stood. Come on, let me introduce you to the rest of the team, the ones who aren't assholes. The morning was a blur of names and handshakes and technical jargon that made Michael's head spin. Some people were kind. Most were polite but distant. A few looked at him like he'd personally insulted them by existing. Lunch came. Michael ate alone in the cafeteria, nothing like Jenkins Auto, where he'd shared sandwiches with Danny and Rodriguez. In the garage, radio playing classic rock, everyone arguing about football. Here, people ate at their desks or in closed-door meetings. The cafeteria felt sterile, quiet. His phone buzzed. Susan. How's day one? Michael typed, learning a lot. Susan, translation overwhelming and terrible. Despite everything, he smiled. Michael, little bit. Susan, my office. 2 p.m. We'll talk. At 2, Patricia appeared at his desk. Ms. Wright wants to see you. Tom looked up from across the room. Already? That was fast. Even for a charity case. Michael ignored him, followed Patricia to Susan's office. Susan was on the phone but waved him in. She finished her call, set the phone down, and just looked at him. That bad? What? Your face. You look like you fought a war and lost. Michael sank into a chair. Tom Richardson hates me. Tom Richardson hates everyone. Don't take it personally. He called me a charity case in front of his people. Susan's expression went ice cold. He said that it's fine. It's not fine. She picked up her phone. Patricia, get Tom Richardson up here. Susan, don't. I can handle. I'm not tolerating that behavior. Not for you, not for anyone. She looked at him. Michael, I didn't bring you here to be hazed by insecure executives. I brought you here because I need what you have. Which is what I spent the morning feeling stupid. You spent the morning seeing things no one else saw. Rachel told me about the charging port issue. You found a critical failure mode in 5 minutes that 30 engineers missed in 6 months. I just asked a question. The right question. That's genius, Michael. Different doesn't mean less. She leaned back. Tom's been here 12 years. He's brilliant with numbers, terrible with people, and threatened by anyone who doesn't worship him. You're not here to make him comfortable. You're here to make us better. A knock. Patricia opened the door. Tom Richardson. Tom walked in, saw Michael. His jaw tightened. Susan. Sit. He sat. Susan didn't waste time. Did you call Michael a charity case? Tom didn't blink. I was making an observation about hiring practices. Did you call him a charity case? Silence. Yes. In front of other employees? I was expressing concern about qualifications. Tom, I'm going to be very clear. Michael is here because I want him here. He has skills we need. And if you undermine him again publicly or privately, you'll find yourself explaining your behavior to HR. Are we understood? Tom's face went red. Understood. Good. Get out. Tom stood, shot Michael a look that promised retribution, left. Susan waited until the door closed. I'm sorry. I should have anticipated. You don't need to fight my battles. Yes, I do. You're my hire, my responsibility. And Michael, she met his eyes. I don't make mistakes about people. He wanted to believe that. That night, Emily was waiting at the door. How was it? Tell me everything. Did you meet important people? Did you see fancy offices? Did anyone give you free snacks? Michael scooped her up despite her protests that she was too big. It was long and weird, and I made someone mad. On purpose. No, just by being there. Emily frowned. That's dumb. You're awesome. You're biased. I'm right. She wriggled down. Mrs. Patterson says sometimes people are mean because they're scared. Scared of what? That you're better than them. Out of the mouths of babes. Tuesday was worse. Michael arrived at 7:30 to find someone had moved his desk. Not far, just 10 feet, but enough to put him in everyone's way. People kept bumping into him, muttering apologies that didn't sound sorry. Rachel found him at 9. Who moved you? Don't know. I know. Tom's little minions want me to say something. No, it's fine. It's not fine. Rachel, please, I just need to keep my head down and learn. She looked at him, nodded. Okay. But this is bullying. You know that, right? He knew. Wednesday, his security clearance still hadn't come through. Tom made sure to mention it, loudly, multiple times. Can't access any real systems without clearance. Guess you'll just keep asking basic questions. Thursday, Michael found his coffee mug, the one Emily had drawn a picture on, in the trash. Someone had drawn a frowning face on the picture, in permanent marker. He fished it out, washed it, said nothing. Friday, he almost quit. It happened during a team meeting, 20 people around a conference table discussing battery management systems. Michael had been quiet the whole meeting, just listening, trying to learn. Then Tom said something about thermal regulation in extreme heat. But what about extreme cold? Michael asked. The room went silent. Excuse me, Tom said. You mentioned Arizona testing. What about Minnesota, Montana places where it hits -20? We have cold weather protocols. Do you have real-world testing, actual cars in actual winter conditions? Tom's smile was sharp as a knife. Are you questioning our methodology? I'm just asking. You're questioning a process designed by engineers with advanced degrees and decades of experience, based on what expertise, your GED, and a toolbox. The room felt vacuum-sealed. Michael's face burned. You were just speaking out of turn about things you don't understand. Tom looked around the table. This is what happens when we lower our standards, when we hire people to feel good about ourselves instead of advance our work. Rachel stood up. Tom, that's enough. It's fine. Michael was already moving out of his chair toward the door. Excuse me. He made it to the stairwell before the shaking started. GED. Tom had done his homework, found Michael's weak spot, and went for the throat. Michael sat on the stairs, head in his hands. His phone rang. Susan. He didn't answer. It rang again. Again. On the fourth call, he picked up. I heard what happened, Susan said. Word travels fast. Rachel called me. Michael, I'm so sorry. He's right. The words tasted like ash. I don't belong here. I don't have degrees, don't have training. I'm a mechanic pretending to be something I'm not. That's not true. Isn't it? I can't even understand half the things people talk about. I spend all day feeling stupid, and everyone knows it. Everyone feels stupid sometimes, even people with PhDs. Not like this, his voice cracked. Susan, I appreciate what you tried to do, but maybe this was a mistake. Silence. Long silence. When Susan spoke, her voice was steel. Don't you dare quit on me. What? Don't you dare let Tom Richardson chase you away. You know what he's doing? He's scared. Because in 1 week, you've identified 3 critical issues his team missed in 6 months. You're making him look bad, and he knows it. I'm not trying to. I know you're not. That's what makes you dangerous to him. You're not political. You're not angling for promotion. You just see things clearly, and people like Tom can't stand that. She paused. Michael, I need you here. The company needs you. Please don't quit. I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can, and I'm going to help you. Monday morning, my office, 7 a.m. We're going to strategize. Together. Michael closed his eyes. Thought about Emily, about the mortgage payment that cleared without bouncing for the first time in 2 years, about the warning text that felt more prophetic every day. Okay, he said. Monday, 7 a.m. Thank you. That night, Michael sat with Emily on the couch, watching her favorite movie. Daddy, yeah, baby, are you sad? How did she always know? Little bit. Because of the mean person at work. How'd you? You get quiet when people are mean, like when Mr. Jenkins used to yell. She snuggled closer. Want to know a secret? Always. The Rabbit Princess. When she first got turned into a rabbit, everyone laughed at her. Said she wasn't a real princess anymore. Said she should go live in the forest with the other rabbits. Yeah, but she stayed anyway because she knew she was still a princess inside. The magic didn't change who she was. It just changed what she looked like. Emily looked up at him. You're still you, Daddy, even in a different place, even when people are mean. Michael pulled her close, kissed the top of her head. When'd you get so wise? I learned from you. Weekend came and went too fast. Monday morning, 7 a.m. Michael stood outside Susan's office. Patricia waved him in. Susan had coffee waiting, real coffee, not the break room sludge, and bagels. Sit, eat, we've got work to do. What kind of work? The kind that keeps Tom Richardson from destroying you. She pulled out a folder. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop trying to fit in and start being exactly who I hired. You're going to ask questions, make observations, challenge assumptions, and when people push back, you're going to push harder. That's what got me in trouble. That's what makes you valuable. Michael, you've been playing defense. Time to play offense. I don't know how to do that. I'll teach you. Corporate warfare isn't that different from survival. It's about knowing your strengths and using them. She opened the folder. Tom's weakness. He's a bully. Bullies rely on fear. The second you stop being afraid, they lose power. Easy to say. Hard to do, I know, but you've survived things Tom couldn't imagine. You've raised a daughter alone, worked 2 jobs, made impossible choices. You think board meetings scare you. You've faced worse. Michael thought about that, about Karen's hospital room, about Emily's first day of kindergarten when he forgot to pack her lunch and felt like the worst father alive, about Jenkins docking his pay and working anyway because there was no choice. Maybe Susan was right. "What's the plan?" She smiled. "We're going to put you where you'll do the most damage to Tom's ego, the manufacturing floor. Our production facility starts EV assembly next month. I'm sending you there as my personal oversight." "Oversight? I don't—" "You'll learn, and you'll see things they're missing, things that matter. Tom can't touch you there without going through me." She leaned back. "This is going to make him furious. He's been angling for manufacturing control for years. Now he'll watch you walk in and take it. You're using me to get to him. I'm using your talents where they'll matter most. Tom being miserable about it is just a bonus." Michael couldn't help it. He laughed. Susan raised her coffee mug. "To offensive strategies." He clinked his against hers. "To not backing down." But as Michael left her office, his phone buzzed. Unknown number, different from last time. "Enjoy your protection while it lasts. Susan won't always be there to save you, and when she's not, we'll be waiting." Michael deleted it, but his hands were shaking again. Someone at Orion wanted him gone, and they were just getting started. The manufacturing plant was 2 hours north of headquarters, a sprawling complex of steel and concrete that hummed with machinery and purpose. Michael arrived Tuesday morning with a knot in his stomach and Susan's words echoing in his head. "Ask questions. Make observations. Don't apologize for what you know." The plant manager was a woman named Gloria Hayes, 50s, steel-gray hair, handshake like a vice grip. "You're Susan's oversight, that's what they tell me." Gloria studied him. "You look terrified." "Little bit." "Good, means you're smart. Come on, let me show you what we're building." The assembly line stretched the length of 3 football fields. Robots and humans working in synchronized chaos, piecing together the future of Orion Motors, one component at a time. The EV platform, sleek, electric, expensive, hung from overhead conveyors like promises waiting to be fulfilled. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Gloria said. "It's something. We start full production in 3 weeks. Right now we're in final testing phase. Every car that comes off this line gets put through hell temperature extremes, stress tests, the works." She walked him down the line, pointing out stations. "Battery installation here, charging port integration there, and software systems go in last." Michael watched the charging port installation, remembered his conversation with Rachel about winter conditions. "How many cold weather tests have you run?" Gloria's expression shifted. "We've done the standard protocol, which is what? 48 hours at 10 degrees Fahrenheit. What about -20, -30? Our target markets don't typically see those temperatures. Minnesota does, Montana, North Dakota. You're selling these nationwide, right?" Gloria stopped walking. "You're the second person to mention extreme cold this month." "Who was the first?" "Rachel Chen. She pushed for expanded testing 2 weeks ago. Tom Richardson blocked it, said it was unnecessary and would delay production." Michael felt something cold settle in his chest. He blocked safety testing. He blocked what he called redundant testing. His words, not mine. Gloria met his eyes. "I've been building cars for 32 years. I don't like cutting corners, but I don't make those calls." "Who does?" "Right now you do. Susan gave you oversight authority. So tell me, do we run the expanded tests or not?" Michael thought about rich people in Minnesota trying to charge frozen cars, thought about the launch failing because they skipped steps, thought about Tom's face when he found out. "Run the tests," Gloria smiled. "Music to my ears. I'll get the climate chamber prepped." Michael called Susan on the drive back. "I authorized expanded cold weather testing." "Good. Tom's gonna be furious." "Tom's always furious. That's his baseline. How'd it go otherwise?" Gloria's solid. The plant's impressive. I keep wondering if I'm making the right calls. You are. Trust yourself, Michael. I do. He wanted to believe that. Wednesday morning, Michael walked into headquarters to find Tom waiting at his desk. We need to talk. Okay. My office. Now. Tom's office was bigger than Michael's entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows, mahogany desk, diplomas covering one wall like trophies. Tom didn't offer him a seat. You authorized additional testing at the manufacturing plant. I did, without consulting me. I consulted the plant manager. She agreed it was necessary. Tom's jaw tightened. You work for me. I work for Susan. I'm Senior VP of Operations. That plant reports to me. Those decisions go through me. Susan gave me oversight authority. Susan made a mistake. Tom leaned against his desk. You know what I think, Turner. I think you're in over your head. I think you're making random decisions to justify your paycheck. And I think when this launch fails, because it will fail, Susan's going to realize what everyone else already knows. You don't belong here. Michael kept his voice steady. The testing will take 3 days. If it delays production, I'll take responsibility. Oh, you'll take responsibility, Tom smiled. I'm going to make sure of it, and when Susan fires you, I'm going to be there to watch. Michael walked out before he said something he'd regret. Rachel caught him in the hallway. I heard Tom screaming, "You okay?" Define okay. Fair point. She fell into step beside him. For what it's worth, you made the right call. That cold weather testing should have been done months ago. Tom doesn't think so. Tom doesn't think beyond his own ego. She stopped at the elevator. Michael, something you should know. The board meeting's Friday. They're reviewing the EV launch timeline. Tom's going to push back on any delays, including your testing. Let him. He's got allies on the board, people who already think Susan's taking too many risks. They hear about delays, they're going to push hard. What should I do? Have the data, show them why it matters, and pray the tests come back clean. Thursday morning, Gloria called. We've got a problem. Michael's stomach dropped. How bad? Bad. The charging ports are failing at -15 degrees. Complete system freeze. We've run it 6 times. Same result every time. Can you fix it? Not without a redesign, and Turner Tom was just here. He saw the results. He's on his way to Susan right now. Michael hung up, grabbed his coat. Was halfway to Susan's office when Patricia intercepted him. She's in an emergency board call. Tom requested it 20 minutes ago. What's he saying? That your testing has revealed a critical flaw that will delay the launch by months. That Susan's leadership is compromised. That bringing you in was a vanity project that's now jeopardizing the entire company. Patricia's expression was grim. Michael, they're talking about pulling the launch. Maybe pulling Susan. The floor tilted. I need to see her. She said to wait. She'll call you when the meeting's over. Michael paced the hallway for 40 minutes. When Susan's door finally opened, Tom walked out first. Saw Michael. Smiled. Enjoy your last few days, mechanic. You just sank the ship. Then Susan appeared. She looked exhausted. Michael, inside. He followed her in. She closed the door, stood there for a moment with her back to him. Susan, the board wants to scrap the expanded testing, rush to production with the current design. Tom convinced them the cold weather failure is an edge case that won't affect most customers. But it will affect some customers, and when it does, I know. She turned around. I told them we're not launching a defective product, that we'll delay if necessary, that quality matters more than deadlines. What did they say? That I'm being emotional, that I'm letting a consultant with no engineering background drive decisions, that if we miss our Q3 launch window, they'll consider new leadership. She sat down heavily. They gave me 72 hours. Either we find a fix or we launch as is. Susan, I'm sorry. This is my fault. This is not your fault. This is Tom's fault for blocking the testing months ago. This is the board's fault for prioritizing profit over safety. This is everyone's fault, except yours. She looked at him. You found a problem that could have destroyed us, cost us billions in recalls, lawsuits, reputation. You did exactly what I hired you to do. But now you might lose your job because of it. Then I lose my job. Her voice was fierce. But I won't compromise, not on this, not ever. Michael sat down. His mind was racing. What if we could fix it in 72 hours? The engineering team says it's impossible. The charging port design is fundamental to the whole system. A redesign would take months. What if we don't redesign? What if we just adapt? I don't follow. Michael pulled out his phone, started searching, found what he was looking for, a parts catalog from his Jenkins Auto days. Block heaters. We use them on diesel engines in winter. Simple heating element, low power draw keeps critical components above freezing. He looked up. What if we integrate something similar, not a redesign, an addition? A thermal sleeve around the charging port activates when temperatures drop below a certain threshold. Susan stared at him. Would that work? I don't know, but it's worth asking someone who does. She grabbed her phone. Rachel, my office, now. Rachel arrived 3 minutes later. Michael explained his idea. She listened, pulling up specs on her tablet, fingers flying. It's insane, she said finally. Michael's heart sank. But it might work. Rachel looked up. If we use a low-voltage heating element, draw power from the car's auxiliary battery instead of the main pack wrap, the port assembly, in a thermal conductive sleeve, we could maintain minimum operating temperature without significant power loss. How long to prototype? Susan asked. Normally 2 months. You've got 48 hours. Rachel's eyes went wide. Susan, can you do it or not? Rachel looked at Michael, at Susan, back at her tablet. I'll need a team, full access to the plant, and no interference from Tom. Done. Pick your people. I'll handle Tom. Susan stood. Michael goes with you. This was his idea. He sees it through. I'm not an engineer. You're the reason we found this problem, and you're the reason we might solve it. You're going. She looked at both of them. 72 hours. Save my company. By 6 p.m., Rachel had assembled a team of 8 engineers. By 8 p.m., they were at the manufacturing plant. By midnight, they had a prototype design. Gloria had converted a section of the plant into a war room, whiteboards covered in equations, computer stations running simulations, coffee flowing like water. Michael mostly stayed out of the way, watched smart people do smart things, answered questions when asked practical questions about installation, maintenance, real-world use. At 2 a.m., Rachel found him in the break room. We've got a working model, crude but functional, testing it in the climate chamber now. How's it looking? Ask me in 4 hours. She poured coffee, sat down hard. You know this is crazy, right? We're trying to solve in 2 days what should take 2 months. Yeah. And if it fails, Susan's done. Probably you too. Definitely me. I know. Rachel was quiet for a moment. Why'd you think of this, the heating element thing? I spent 15 years fixing cars that broke in winter. You learn what works. He looked at her. Why'd you believe it could work? Because you're not trying to impress anyone. You're just trying to solve the problem. And that's engineering at its best, finding simple solutions to complex challenges. She smiled. Also, you were right about the winter testing. I figure you might be right about this too. At 6 a.m., the first test results came in. The heating element worked. The port maintained function down to -25 degrees. We need to test it more, Rachel said. Thermal cycling, long-term exposure, integration with the car's power management system. Do it, Michael said. Whatever you need. Thursday became a blur. Test after test, adjustment after adjustment. The team working in shifts, grabbing sleep in conference rooms, living on vending machine food and determination. Tom showed up Thursday afternoon. Heard you're playing engineer now, Turner. Just helping where I can. This is going to fail. You know that, right? And when it does, I'm going to personally escort you out of this building. Rachel stepped between them. Tom, unless you're here to help, get out. I'm here to document the disaster for the board. They'll want a full report on how Susan's pet project wasted millions in a desperate attempt to avoid admitting he screwed up. The only screw-up was you blocking the original testing, Rachel snapped. Now move, we've got work to do. Tom left, but his presence lingered like smoke. Friday morning, Susan arrived at the plant. Talk to me. We've run 37 test cycles, Rachel said. The thermal sleeve maintains port functionality down to -30 degrees. Power draw is minimal, less than 1% battery capacity over a 12-hour period. Integration with existing systems is seamless. It works. Susan closed her eyes. Thank God. There's one problem. Of course there is. We've got a prototype, but to integrate this into full production, we need to retrofit the entire assembly line, reconfigure the installation process, retrain the teams. We're talking a week minimum, maybe 2. We don't have 2 weeks. The board meets at noon. They want an answer. Then tell them we have a solution that works, that we need time to implement it properly. They'll say no. They'll force us to launch without it. Michael had been quiet. Now he spoke up. What if we don't retrofit the line? Everyone turned. What if we install them by hand after production, before the cars ship? That's insane, one of the engineers said. We're talking hundreds of units. How many cars are scheduled for initial delivery? Michael asked. Gloria checked her tablet. 247. And how long does installation take? On the prototype, about 30 minutes per unit. Michael did the math. 247 cars, 30 minutes each. That's 124 hours of labor. Divide that across how many people can we get? 10 technicians, maybe 15 if we pull from other departments, Gloria said. 15 people round the clock, that's about 8 hours of work per person. We could do it in a single shift. You want to hand install custom components on 247 cars in one shift. Rachel looked at him like he'd lost his mind. You got a better idea. Rachel looked at Susan. Susan looked at Michael. Can you pull it off? She asked him. I don't know, but I'll be the first one on the line and the last one off. Susan checked her watch. I've got 3 hours before the board meeting. Show me it can work. They grabbed the prototype, picked a car at random from the pre-delivery lot. Gloria assembled the techs. Michael walked them through the installation step by step, simple as changing oil. 28 minutes. Again, Michael said, faster this time. Second car, 22 minutes. Third car, 19 minutes. It's doable, Gloria said. Tight, but doable. Susan pulled out her phone, started typing. I'm telling the board we have a solution. We'll delay delivery by 48 hours for quality enhancement. No mention of the failure, no mention of the crisis, just a commitment to excellence. They'll ask questions, Rachel said. Let them ask. I've got Michael's solution, your engineering data, and Gloria's team ready to execute. That's more than Tom's got. Susan looked at Michael. You started this. You ready to finish it? Yes. Then let's prove everyone wrong. The board meeting was a nightmare. Michael was grateful he didn't attend, but he heard about it later from Patricia. Tom had pushed hard, demanded they scrap the delay, called it unnecessary, expensive, a waste of time, said Susan was letting a mechanic run the company into the ground. Susan had held firm, presented the data, showed the test results, explained the hand installation plan. The vote was close, 7-5 in Susan's favor. Tom walked out of the meeting and quit on the spot. Good riddance, Patricia said. Man was a cancer. Friday night, the real work began. 15 technicians, 247 cars. Gloria running logistics like a general. Rachel troubleshooting issues as they arose. Michael moving down the line, helping wherever needed, answering questions, demonstrating techniques. By midnight, they'd done 80 cars. By 4 a.m., 160. By 8 a.m., Saturday, they were done. 247 cars, every single one equipped with thermal sleeves. Every single one tested and certified. Michael stood in the delivery lot as the sun came up covered in grease and sweat and exhaustion. Gloria walked over, handed him coffee. "You know what you just did? Helped install some parts. You saved this launch, saved this company, maybe saved Susan's career." She clinked her cup against his. "Not bad for a mechanic." "I'm still just a mechanic." "No." Gloria shook her head. "You're whatever you choose to be, and right now you're the guy who pulled off the impossible." Monday morning, Susan called an all-hands meeting in the main auditorium. 200 employees packed in, wondering what was happening. Susan took the stage. "3 weeks ago, I hired someone unconventional, someone without engineering degrees or corporate experience, someone many of you doubted." She paused. "Michael Turner, please stand up." Michael, sitting in the back row, felt his face burn, stood slowly. Michael found a critical flaw in our EV platform, a flaw that could have cost us billions, cost us customers, cost us our reputation. And when others said the problem was unfixable in our timeline, Michael found a solution. He led a team through 72 hours of the hardest work any of us have done. And because of him, we're launching on schedule with a better product than we had before. The room was silent. I want everyone to understand something. Innovation doesn't just come from degrees and credentials. It comes from people who see problems differently, who ask questions others don't think to ask, who care more about solutions than status. Susan looked directly at Michael. "Michael embodies everything I want Orion Motors to be, and I'm proud to work with him." She started clapping. Rachel joined in. Gloria stood up applauding. One by one, the entire auditorium rose. 200 people, most of whom had doubted him, now standing and clapping. Michael felt tears prick his eyes, forced them back, nodded his thanks. After the meeting, people approached him, shook his hand, said things like, "Well done," and "Impressive work," and "Sorry I doubted you." Rachel hugged him. "You did it, you crazy bastard. We did it. Don't be humble. It doesn't suit you." She grinned. "Susan's promoting you. Full position. Senior consultant with direct board access. Tom's office is yours if you want it." "I don't want his office." "Smart. It's got bad energy anyway." That night, Michael picked Emily up from school himself. "Daddy, you're here. You're never here on Monday." "Took the afternoon off. Thought we could celebrate." "Celebrate what?" "I didn't quit." Emily's face lit up. "The mean people stopped being mean. Some of them, and the ones who didn't, I stopped caring what they thought. Because you're awesome. Because I remembered who I am. A mechanic, a dad, someone who fixes things." He took her hand. "Your rabbit princess was right. The magic didn't change who she was inside." "Told you." Emily skipped ahead, then turned back. "Daddy, are we really going to be okay now?" Michael thought about the promotion, the salary increase Susan mentioned, the respect he'd earned from people who'd written him off. But more than that, he thought about the 72 hours in the plant, the problem solving, the teamwork, the feeling of knowing he'd done something that mattered. "Yeah, baby, we're going to be okay." That night, lying in bed, Michael's phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. He almost didn't look, but he did. "You won. This time. Enjoy it." Michael stared at the message. Then he deleted it, blocked the number, turned off his phone. Because whatever threats were coming, whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew something now that he hadn't known 3 weeks ago. He belonged. Not because of degrees or credentials or permission from people like Tom, but because he'd proven it to himself. And that was the only approval that mattered. Michael's new title came with a real office, not Tom's, he'd refused that, but a corner space with actual windows and a door that closed. Rachel had laughed when she saw him standing in the doorway, afraid to go in. "It's just a room, Turner. It's got a couch. Who needs a couch in an office? People who take meetings, which you'll be doing now. Get used to it." But the strangest part wasn't the office or the title or even the salary that let him pay off 3 credit cards in 1 month. The strangest part was how people looked at him now, respect instead of suspicion, questions instead of condescension, like maybe he'd earned his place after all. Susan called him to her office on a Wednesday afternoon in late October. "Sit, please." He sat. She looked different today. Less CEO, more just Susan, tired around the eyes. "The EV launch is next week. Press event test drives the whole show." "I know. Rachel won't stop talking about it." "I want you there, on stage, with me." Michael's stomach dropped. "Susan, you're the reason this launch is happening, the reason it's happening right. People should know that. People don't care about the mechanic who, I care, the board cares. Hell, even the engineers who hated you 3 weeks ago care." She leaned forward. "Michael, you changed this company. Changed how we think about problems, about solutions, about who gets a seat at the table. That matters." "I'm not good at public speaking." "Neither was I. You learn." She smiled. "Besides, you won't be alone up there. I'll be right next to you." Something in the way she said it made his chest tight. "Okay," he said. "I'll do it." "Good. Wear something nice. And Michael." She paused. "Thank you for not quitting, for staying when it got hard, for proving me right. You took the risk." "We both did." That night, Emily was doing homework at the kitchen table when Michael's phone rang. "Susan." He almost didn't answer. They'd just talked, but something made him pick up. "Susan, I'm sorry to call so late. She sounded off, shaky. "Are you busy Saturday?" "Depends. What's Saturday?" "I don't know. I just thought I've been in board meetings and press prep, and I haven't had a real conversation with another human in days. And I'm sitting in this apartment that costs more than some people's houses, and it's so quiet I can hear myself think, and I hate it." Michael set down the dish he'd been washing. "Susan, are you okay?" "I don't know, maybe, probably. I just wanted to hear a friendly voice." She laughed, but it sounded wrong. "God, this is pathetic. I'm calling my employee at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. I'm not just an employee." Silence. "No," Susan said softly. "You're not." "Saturday," Michael said. "You free in the afternoon?" "I can be. There's a park near my place. Emily loves it. We usually go around too, bring sandwiches. You should come." "I don't want to intrude on your time with your daughter." "You're not intruding. Emily asks about you constantly. Wants to know if the nice lady from the car ever finished reading her Rabbit Princess story." He smiled. "Come. Eat terrible sandwiches. Watch a 7-year-old conquer a jungle gym. Be a person instead of a CEO for a few hours." Susan was quiet so long he thought she'd hung up. "Then I'd like that. Really. 2 p.m., Riverside Park. Bring a jacket. It's getting cold." Saturday came bright and crisp, the kind of October day that felt like a gift. Michael packed sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly, because that's what they could afford, even with the new salary-grabbed apples and juice boxes, met Susan at the park entrance. She looked different in jeans and a sweater, younger, less armored. "You came," he said. "I came." She held up a bakery box. "I brought dessert, chocolate chip cookies, store-bought because we both know my baking skills are questionable." "Susan, Susan," Emily came running, pigtails flying, nearly knocked Susan over with a hug. "You came. Daddy said you might not, but I knew you would. I wouldn't miss it." Susan hugged her back and something in her face shifted, softened. "I've been waiting to hear the end of the Rabbit Princess story." "Oh, okay." So the prince finally figured out she was the princess, and he felt really bad about being mean to her when she was a rabbit. And, let Susan breathe first," Michael said. "Maybe we eat then story." They found a table, spread out the food. Emily talked non-stop about school and her friends and the science project she was building with popsicle sticks. Susan listened like it was the most important thing she'd ever heard. "Your teacher sounds wonderful," Susan said. "Mrs. Patterson's the best. She says I should be a writer when I grow up because I have good imagination. But I think maybe I want to fix cars like Daddy. Or maybe both." "Can you be both?" "You can be anything you want," Susan said. "That's what Daddy says." Emily bit into her sandwich. "Are you married, Emily?" Michael nearly choked. What I'm just asking. Susan laughed, real laugh this time. It's okay, no sweetheart, I'm not married. How come, Emily? I was married once, Susan said quietly, a long time ago, but we wanted different things. He wanted someone who stayed home and threw parties. I wanted to build things, so we went our separate ways. Do you have kids? No, I always thought I would, but... She stopped, smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Life had other plans. That's sad, Emily said with the blunt honesty of 7-year-olds. Kids are great. You should get some. Emily, that's not how it works. I know how it works, Daddy. Mrs. Patterson explained biology. I'm just saying Susan would be a good mom. She listens real good and she's nice and she brought cookies. Susan's eyes were bright. Thank you, Emily. That's very sweet. After lunch, Emily dragged them to the playground, made them push her on the swings, time her on the monkey bars, watch her go down the slide 17 times in a row. Michael and Susan ended up on a bench watching her play. She's amazing, Susan said. You've done an incredible job. I'm just trying not to screw her up too badly. You're doing more than that. She's confident, kind, curious. That doesn't happen by accident. Susan was quiet for a moment. Can I ask you something? Sure. How do you do it, balance everything, work and parenting and just being present? I don't. Not really. I just try to show up, be there when she needs me. Everything else is noise. He looked at her. Why? Because I've spent 30 years building a company, and I'm sitting here watching you with your daughter, and I'm realizing I don't have this. Any of this. I have money and power and respect, and I come home to an empty apartment and eat takeout alone and wonder what the hell it was all for. Susan, I envied you, you know, that day on Route 40. You had nothing, late for work, barely making it, and you stopped anyway. Helped a stranger, and Emily was in that car, messy and happy and loved, and I thought that's what success looks like. Not my corner office, not my stock portfolio, what you have, what you built with her. Michael didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, Susan said. That's too heavy for a Saturday afternoon. No, it's honest. He watched Emily climb to the top of the jungle gym, fearless. You want to know the truth? I was terrified every single day after Karen died. Terrified I'd fail Emily, that I'd mess up her lunch or forget a permission slip or say the wrong thing when she asked about her mom, but I showed up anyway, because that's all you can do. Show up, try, love them through the mistakes. You make it sound simple. It's not. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the only thing that matters. He looked at Susan. The company stuff, the money, the titles, that's great. But at the end of the day, what did you build that lasts? What did you create that loves you back? Susan wiped her eyes. When did you get so wise? When I had no choice but to figure it out. Emily ran over breathless. Susan, will you play tag with us? There's some other kids and we need more people. I don't know if I remember how to play tag. It's easy. Someone's it, and they chase everyone, and when they tag you, you're it. Come on. Emily grabbed Susan's hand, pulled her toward a group of kids. Michael watched Susan Wright, billionaire CEO, running around a playground with 7-year-olds, laughing like she'd forgotten how and just remembered. He pulled out his phone, took a picture, something to remember this day by. The launch event was chaos, wrapped in spotlights and champagne. Press everywhere, cameras flashing, the new EV gleaming on a rotating platform like automotive jewelry, board members glad-handing investors, Susan in full CEO mode commanding the room without trying. Michael stood backstage in his new suit, bought special for this Emily's opinion, sought on the tie, feeling like an imposter again. Rachel found him. You look terrified. I am terrified. Good. Means you care. Just say what Susan told you to say. Smile, don't trip, walking on stage. She straightened his tie. You've got this. What if I mess up? Then you mess up. World keeps turning. Besides, you fixed a launch everyone said was unfixable. Compared to that, this is nothing. Susan appeared. Ready. No. Perfect. Neither am I. She took his arm. "Let's go prove we belong here." They walked on stage together. The applause was deafening. Susan spoke first, talked about innovation, about Orion's commitment to excellence, about the future of automotive technology. She was brilliant, confident, every inch the CEO. Then she turned to Michael. But none of this would be possible without someone who saw what we couldn't. Michael Turner joined Orion 6 weeks ago. He came from a garage, not a boardroom. He asked questions we'd stopped asking, found problems we'd stopped looking for, and when everyone said it was too late to fix them, he found a way anyway. She looked at him. "Michael represents everything I want this company to be. Curious, honest, committed to doing things right, not just doing them fast. Michael, would you say a few words?" Every eye in the room turned to him. Michael stepped to the microphone. "I'm not good at speeches," he started. A few people laughed. 6 weeks ago, I was a mechanic trying to keep my head above water. Susan gave me a chance when she had no reason to. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And she taught me something important." He paused. "She taught me that where you come from doesn't matter as much as where you're going, that questions are more valuable than answers, that the best solutions come from people who aren't afraid to see problems differently." He looked at Susan. "Thank you for taking a risk on me, for showing me that I could be more than I thought, for building a company that values people over pedigree." The applause was real this time, not polite, real. After the event, after the press interviews and the investor meetings and the endless handshakes, Susan found Michael in a quiet corner. "You were amazing up there. I was terrified. Doesn't matter, you showed up, said what needed saying." She held out a folder. "Speaking of which, I want to talk to you about something." Michael took the folder, opened it. Inside was an organizational chart. At the top, Susan Wright, CEO. One level down, a new position, Chief Innovation Officer, his name in the box. "Susan, before you say no, hear me out. This launch proved something. We need someone asking the hard questions, someone keeping us honest, someone who understands that we're building products for real people, not just spec sheets." She met his eyes. "I want that someone to be you. Board seat, executive authority, real power to shape this company's future." Michael stared at the chart. Chief Innovation Officer, the kind of title he'd never imagined, the kind of opportunity people spent careers chasing. "Can I think about it?" "Of course, take your time." But Michael already knew his answer. He just needed to figure out how to say it. That night, he sat with Emily on the couch. "Daddy, you're being quiet again." "Just thinking, baby." "About what?" "About what I want to do with work." Emily turned to face him. "Did something bad happen?" "No, something good. Susan offered me a big promotion, important title, more money." "That's great. Is it?" Emily frowned. "You don't want it." "I don't know. I keep thinking when I was in that plant fixing the cars, solving the problem with my hands, that felt right. That felt like me. But this promotion, it's all meetings and strategy and sitting in offices, and I keep wondering if that's what I really want." "What do you really want?" Michael thought about it, about the garage he'd dreamed of years ago, about teaching kids how to fix things, about building something real, something that lasted, something that mattered. "I think I want to build something of my own, a garage, a real one, not just fixing cars, but teaching people how, helping single parents who can't afford repairs, creating jobs for people like me." He looked at Emily. "But that means turning down Susan's offer, and I don't want to seem ungrateful." "Daddy, Susan's your friend, right?" "Yeah, I think so." "Then she'll understand. Friends want you to be happy, not just successful." 7 years old, and wiser than him. Monday morning, Michael walked into Susan's office with his answer. She looked up from her laptop. "You're turning it down." "How did you?" "I know you, Michael. I've seen that look before." She gestured to a chair. "Sit. Talk to me." He sat, tried to find the words. "I'm grateful for everything. The job, the opportunity, the faith you had in me. You changed my life, Emily's life, but you don't want boardrooms." I don't want boardrooms. I want to build something real, with my hands. A garage. Not like Jenkins Auto, where it's just about moving cars through as fast as possible. Something different. A place where we teach people, where we help people who can't afford help. Where someone like me can walk in and find not just a job, but a chance. Susan was quiet. I'm sorry, Michael said. I know this isn't what you wanted to hear. Are you kidding? This is exactly what I wanted to hear. She smiled. Michael, you just proved why I was right about you. You could take the safe path, the prestigious path, the path everyone expects. But you're choosing the harder thing, the truer thing, the thing that matters to you. She pulled out her phone. Tell me about this garage. What would you need? Susan, I'm not asking for. I know you're not. I'm offering anyway. Humor me. So Michael told her about the garage he'd dreamed of, about training programs for young mechanics, about subsidized repairs for single parents, about building a business that measured success in lives changed, not just profits earned. Susan listened, taking notes, asking questions. When he finished, she set down her phone. I want in. What? As an investor, silent partner. I provide the capital, you provide the vision and the work. 60-40 split. You keep majority control. I get to be part of something real. She leaned forward. Michael, I've spent 30 years building Orion. It's been my whole life. And sitting in that park with you and Emily, I realized I want more than this. I want to build things that matter to people. Things that change lives in ways you can see and touch. Let me help you build this. Susan, please, let me be part of something good. Michael looked at her, at the hope in her eyes, at the loneliness hiding behind the success. Okay, he said, but on one condition. Name it. You're not a silent partner. You're involved. You show up. You meet the people we help. You get your hands dirty. Literally. He smiled. Deal. Susan stood, extended her hand. Deal. They shook on it, and for the first time since Karen died, Michael felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be, building something that mattered, with someone who understood why it mattered. The weeks that followed were a blur of planning and paperwork and possibility. Susan helped him find a location, an old garage on the east side, big enough for 6 bays and a classroom. She connected him with contractors, lawyers, accountants, made calls that opened doors Michael didn't even know existed, but she also showed up. Weekends, evenings, whenever she could, wore jeans and got dust on her hands and asked questions about ventilation systems and tool organization like she was learning a new language. Emily loved having her around, would run to Susan the moment she arrived, dragging her to see whatever new development had happened. Susan would crouch down, listen intently, treat Emily's observations like they were the most important insights in the world. One Saturday in late November, the three of them sat in the half-finished garage, eating pizza. We should have a sign, Emily announced. All businesses need signs. You're right, Michael said. What should it say? Turner's Garage, Emily said immediately. That's your name. That's what it should be. Turner's Garage, Susan repeated. I like it, but it needs something more, something that tells people what we're about. Built on trust, Michael said quietly. They both looked at him. When I stopped to help you that day on Route 40, you trusted me, a stranger, and that trust changed everything, changed my life, Emily's life, maybe even yours a little. He looked at Susan. This garage, it's about building that same trust with customers, with employees, with the community. It's about proving that good people still exist, that help is still possible. Susan's eyes were bright. Turner's Garage, built on trust. Perfect, Emily whispered. The sign went up the first week of December, big letters, honest and simple, visible from the street. Michael stood looking at it with Susan beside him, Emily holding both their hands. We did it, Susan said. We did it. What now? Michael thought about the applications already coming in, young people wanting to learn, single parents needing help, a community that had forgotten what it meant to have a place that cared. Now we prove it works. We show people that business can be different, that success isn't just profit, that the richest thing you can build is trust. Susan squeezed his hand. I believe in this, in you, in what we're creating. I couldn't do it without you. Yes, you could. You already proved that, but I'm grateful I get to do it with you. Emily tugged on both their hands. Can we go inside? It's cold. They went inside, into the garage that smelled like fresh paint and new beginnings, into the space they'd built together, into the future they were creating, one act of trust at a time. And standing there in the half-light of December afternoon, Michael realized something. He'd started this journey broken, drowning, desperate. And he'd found more than rescue. He'd found purpose, partnership, a second chance at building something that mattered, not despite where he'd been, but because of it. Turner's garage opened on a Monday in January, and by Tuesday afternoon they had their first customer. A woman in her 30s pulled up in a battered Honda, 2 kids in the back seat. She got out slowly, like someone expecting bad news. Michael wiped his hands on his coveralls. Morning, what can we do for you? My check engine light's been on for 3 weeks. I called around, but everywhere wants $100 just to look at it, and I don't... Her voice cracked. I don't have $100. Michael glanced at Susan, who was organizing paperwork at the front desk. She nodded. Let me take a look. No charge for diagnostics. The woman's eyes filled. Really? Pull it into Bay 1. It took 15 minutes to find the problem. Loose gas cap. Simple. Stupid simple. Michael walked back to the waiting area where the woman sat with her kids. Good news. Your gas cap wasn't sealed properly. That's what triggered the light. I tightened it, reset the system. You're good to go. How much do I owe you? Nothing. She stared at him. Nothing. It took 15 minutes. Consider it a welcome gift. He smiled. But next time you need real work done, come back. We'll treat you fair. The woman started crying, actually crying. Her kids looked alarmed. Mom, it's okay, babies. These are happy tears. She looked at Michael. Do you know how many places I called? How many people treated me like I was wasting their time because I couldn't afford their prices? I know exactly how that feels. Thank you so much. After she left, Susan came over. You just gave away free labor. I just built trust. We're going to go broke at this rate. We're going to build something better than profit. He looked at her. You trust me. Susan smiled. Always. By the end of the first month, they'd helped 47 people. Some paid full price. Some paid what they could. Some paid nothing but spread the word. By the end of the second month, they had a waiting list. Michael hired 2 mechanics, both young, both hungry, both grateful for the chance. Started teaching them not just how to fix cars, but how to treat people. How to explain problems without condescending. How to find solutions that fit budgets, not just billable hours. Susan came by 3 times a week, started learning the business side. Payroll, inventory, insurance. But she also learned to change oil, rotate tires, read diagnostic codes, got grease under her fingernails and laughed about it. Emily appointed herself official greeter, made a badge that said assistant manager and wore it every Saturday. She'd ask customers about their days, offer them coffee, tell them about the rabbit princess while they waited. One Saturday in March, Michael found Susan in the classroom they'd set up, wiping down tables. You don't have to do that. We have a cleaning service. I know, I wanted to. She looked around. We start the first training class next week. 8 students. I'm nervous. Why? What if they don't learn? What if we're not good teachers? Then we'll figure it out. That's what we do. He moved closer. Susan, you've taught me more in 6 months than I learned in 6 years. You'll be fine. You've taught me too, you know. How to change oil. How to live. How to care about something beyond profit margins. How to show up for people. She set down the cloth. I was so lonely before that day on Route 40. I didn't even realize how lonely until I met you. until I saw what real connection looked like. Michael's heart was beating too fast. Susan, I'm not saying this to make things weird. I just want you to know you changed my life. You and Emily both. You gave me something I didn't know I was missing. What's that? Family. The word hung between them. Michael wanted to say something, tell her that she'd changed his life too, that somewhere between the garage and the park visits and the late-night planning sessions, she'd become essential, that he thought about her when she wasn't there, that Emily asked about her constantly, that the apartment felt emptier on the days Susan didn't come by, that maybe possibly he was falling in love with her, but the words stuck. So he just said, "You're family to us too." Susan smiled, sad smile, like she'd hoped for different words, but would take what she got. I should go. Early meeting tomorrow. Susan, wait. But she was already heading to the door. See you Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. After she left, Michael stood alone in the classroom and called himself 7 kinds of coward. That night, Emily found him staring at his phone. Who are you texting? Nobody, just thinking. Emily climbed onto the couch next to him. About Susan. What makes you say that? Because you get the same face you used to get when you looked at pictures of Mommy, before the sad part, the happy part. Michael's chest tightened. I loved your mom very much. I know, she loved you too, but Daddy... Emily put her small hand on his. Mommy's gone, and it's okay to love someone else. She'd want you to be happy. I don't know if Susan feels that way about me. She does. Emily said it with absolute certainty. She looks at you the same way you look at her, like you're both afraid but you want to be brave. When'd you get so smart? I'm almost 8, practically a grown-up. She yawned. You should tell her before she thinks you don't like her back. It's complicated. Love isn't complicated. People make it complicated. Just tell her. Michael looked at his daughter, 7 years old and wiser than anyone he knew. Okay, he said, I'll tell her. But telling her turned out to be harder than expected. Tuesday came and Susan showed up like always, but something was different, distant, professional. She helped with inventory, reviewed the books, taught an oil change class. But she didn't stay for coffee, didn't ask about Emily, left before dinner with an excuse about paperwork. Wednesday was the same, Thursday worse. By Friday, Michael was losing his mind. Rachel called that afternoon. Turner, what did you do? What? Susan's been weird all week, won't talk about anything except work. Snapped at 2 board members. Something happened. What happened? I don't know. She's been avoiding me. Did you say something stupid? I don't think so. Rachel groaned. Men, you're all useless. Fix it. Whatever it is, fix it. That night, Michael called Susan. She didn't answer. He texted. Nothing. Finally, he drove to her building, fancy high-rise downtown doorman and everything. Definitely not a place for mechanics in work boots. The doorman eyed him suspiciously. Can I help you? I'm here to see Susan Wright. Is she expecting you? No, but tell her Michael's here. Michael Turner, she'll know. The doorman made a call, raised his eyebrows. She says to send you up. Penthouse. Elevators on the left. The elevator ride took forever. Michael's palms were sweating. He had no plan, no speech prepared, just a desperate need to know what he'd done wrong. Susan answered the door in sweatpants and a Orion Motors t-shirt. No makeup, hair in a messy bun. She looked younger, vulnerable. Michael, you've been avoiding me. I've been busy. Please don't lie. We're better than that. He stepped inside. The apartment was huge and cold and empty, exactly how she'd described it. Tell me what I did. Let me fix it. Susan closed the door, wrapped her arms around herself. You didn't do anything wrong. Then why? Because I can't do this anymore. The words burst out. I can't keep showing up and pretending I'm just your business partner, pretending I don't feel... She stopped, looked away. I'm sorry. This is unprofessional. I should have maintained boundaries. I'll find someone else to manage my investment. You can buy me out or... Susan, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that I'm in love with you. She finally looked at him, tears on her face. I'm in love with you, and it's killing me because you loved Karen, and you're still in love with Karen, and I'm just the woman who helped you get back on your feet, and I keep showing up hoping you'll see me differently, but you don't, and I can't keep breaking my own heart. Michael stood there stunned. You love me. Of course I love you. How could I not? You're kind and honest, and you care about people, and you're an amazing father, and you stopped to help me when you had every reason not to, and she wiped her eyes. And you're still in love with your wife, and that's okay. It is. She deserved your love, but I can't keep wanting something you can't give me. Michael crossed the room, took her hands. You're right. I did love Karen. I'll always love Karen. She gave me Emily and 7 beautiful years, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. He squeezed Susan's hands. But she's gone, and I'm still here, and I've been so afraid of betraying her memory that I've been lying to myself about what I feel. What do you feel? I feel like I've been waiting for permission to move on. Permission from Karen, permission from myself, permission from the universe. And then Emily told me something. He smiled. She said Karen would want me to be happy, that love isn't complicated, people just make it complicated. And she was right. Emily said that she's smarter than both of us. Michael moved closer. Susan, I'm terrified. I haven't done this in 10 years. I don't know how to date or what the rules are or if I'll be any good at it, but I know I think about you constantly. I know the garage feels wrong when you're not there. I know Emily lights up when she sees you. I know I've been falling for you for months, and I've been too scared to admit it. Susan's breath caught. Michael, I love you. I'm in love with you, and I'm sorry it took me so long to say it. Susan kissed him, just stepped forward and kissed him, and Michael felt like he'd been underwater for years and finally broke the surface. When they pulled apart, they were both crying. I love you, Susan whispered. I've loved you since you stopped on Route 40, since you helped me without asking for anything back, since you showed me what goodness looks like. I love you too, and I'm done being scared. They stood there holding each other in Susan's empty apartment that suddenly felt a little less empty. What do we tell Emily? Susan asked. Emily already knows. She's been waiting for us to figure it out. Susan laughed. She's scary perceptive. She gets it from her mom, both of them. That made Susan cry again. Happy tears this time. The next morning, Michael picked Emily up from her sleepover at a friend's house. Did you tell her? Emily asked the second she got in the car. Tell who? What? Daddy, don't be dumb. Did you tell Susan you love her? I did. Emily squealed. Actually squealed. What did she say? She said she loves me too. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Emily was bouncing in her seat. Can we go tell her right now? She's actually meeting us at the garage. We have something we want to talk to you about. Is she gonna be my new mom? Michael nearly drove off the road. It's not that simple. Why not you love her? She loves you. She loves me. I love her. Seems simple. It's early. We just started dating. These things take time. How much time? I don't know. Months, maybe a year, maybe more. Emily crossed her arms. That's dumb. You already know you love each other. Why wait? Because that's how adults do things. Adults are dumb. Michael laughed despite himself. Yeah, baby, sometimes we are. Susan was waiting at the garage when they arrived. Emily ran to her, launched herself into a hug. Daddy told me you love each other. Are you gonna get married? Emily. Michael's face burned, but Susan just laughed. Maybe someday, if your dad ever asks me. You should ask her now. We literally just started dating yesterday. So, Emily looked between them. Do you love her? Yes. Do you want to be with her forever? Yes. Does she make you happy? Michael looked at Susan, at her smile, at the way she looked at him like he was worth something, like he mattered. Yeah, baby, she makes me really happy. Then why wait? Emily turned to Susan. Do you want to marry Daddy? Susan's eyes were bright. I would be honored to marry your dad. When he's ready, when we're all ready. I'm ready now. I've been ready since you brought the cinnamon rolls. They both laughed, the kind of laugh that comes from joy and relief and the absurd perfection of 7-year-old logic. How about this? Susan said, crouching down. How about we take it slow, get to know each other better, and if someday your dad asks me to marry him, we'll all talk about it together, the three of us, because you're part of this too. Your opinion matters. Emily thought about it. Okay, but you should know I'm gonna vote yes. Noted. Susan hugged her, looked at Michael over Emily's head, mouthed the words, I love you. He mouthed back, I love you too. 6 months later, Turner's garage was thriving. They'd helped over 300 people, trained 20 young mechanics, created jobs for 5 single parents, built exactly the kind of community Michael had dreamed of. Susan had moved in with them 3 months ago, started slowly with overnight stays that turned into weekends, that turned into, why am I still paying rent on that empty apartment? Emily had her own room. Susan had her corner of the closet. Michael had his family back. Different family, but family nonetheless. One Saturday in September, Michael closed the garage early, told Emily they were going on a drive. She groaned about missing cartoons, but got in the car anyway. Where are we going? You'll see. He drove to Route 40, pulled over at the exact spot where he'd found Susan's Mercedes 10 months ago. This is where you met her, Emily said. This is where everything changed. Susan pulled up behind them in her car. Emily bounced. Why's Susan here? Because I wanted both of you here for this. They got out, stood on the side of the road where it had all started, where kindness had become connection, where helping a stranger had become helping himself. Michael took Susan's hand. 10 months ago, I was late for work, almost out of gas, barely holding it together, and I saw someone who needed help. He looked at Susan. I almost didn't stop, almost told myself I couldn't afford to be late again, but something made me stop anyway. Your character, Susan said softly. My desperation, my inability to see someone struggling and not help. Whatever it was, it brought me to you, and you changed everything. He pulled a small box from his pocket. I'm a mechanic. I fix things. But you fixed me. You fixed the part of me that thought I'd never be happy again, that thought I'd never deserve more than survival. You showed me I could build something, be something, that I was worth more than I believed. Emily was crying. Susan was crying. Hell, Michael was crying too. Susan Wright, you're my best friend, my partner, the person I want to build everything with. You're Emily's favorite person. You're the reason we have the garage, the reason we have hope, the reason we remember every day that kindness matters, that trust matters, that helping people is never wasted. He opened the box. Inside, a simple ring. Will you marry me? Susan was full-on sobbing now. Yes, God, yes, 1,000 times yes. Michael slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her while Emily cheered and cars honked as they passed, and the world kept spinning around this perfect moment. I love you, Susan whispered. I love you too, both of us. He pulled Emily into the hug, all of us. They stood there, the three of them on the side of Route 40 where it all began. A single dad who'd stopped to help, a billionaire who'd forgotten what help looked like, a little girl who'd known all along what love could be. Can we go tell everyone? Emily asked. Who's everyone? Rachel, Gloria, Patricia, all the people at the garage. Everyone? Susan laughed. Yeah, baby, we can tell everyone. They got in their cars, drove back toward the garage they'd built together, the life they'd created, the future they were making. And Michael thought about Karen, hoped she could see this, hoped she knew he'd kept their daughter safe and loved and happy, hoped she approved of Susan, hoped she understood. He liked to think she did, that somewhere, somehow she was smiling, because the truth was simple. He'd helped a stranger when he couldn't afford to, and that stranger had helped him remember who he was, not just a mechanic, not just a single dad drowning in bills, a man worth loving, worth trusting, worth building a life with. The sign outside Turner's garage gleamed in the afternoon sun, built on trust. And every word was true. Trust that helping others mattered. Trust that good things could happen to good people. Trust that endings could become beginnings. Trust that love, real love, could find you when you stopped looking. Michael pulled into the garage parking lot. Susan parked beside him. Emily jumped out, already running inside to spread the news. Susan took his hand. "Ready for this the rest of our lives." Michael looked at the garage, at the people inside who'd become family, at Emily dancing around telling everyone about the proposal, at Susan, the woman who'd seen him on his worst day and loved him anyway. "Yeah," he said, "I'm ready." They walked inside together, where trust had built more than a business. It had built a home, a family, a second chance. And Michael Turner, the mechanic who'd stopped to help a stranger, finally understood the greatest truth of all. The richest thing you can earn isn't money. It's grace. The grace of being seen, being valued, being loved, not despite where you've been, but because of where you're willing to go. Together.